Alright, hello everybody. Today I want to show you my redstone elevator. This is something I've been working on for a little bit, and I thought I'd share the design and explain how it functions, including all of the components that I use to make it work. My hope for this video is that you take something cool away from this, maybe a specific component that can work for you in your project, or this can serve as a form of inspiration for something you want to build. This is a 5-story elevator, and I designed it with the ability to access all four of the to access the 4 top floors from the bottom floor. When I was making this, I didn't really make it able to go back down to the bottom floor, but these are designated as floors 0 through 4. So let's get started. I'll start with the demonstration. Alright, so we start here on floor 0, right here, and we can select a floor by selecting one of these note blocks. So let's select floor 1. Alright, so here. Alright, I'm in floor 1 now. Cool. So now let's go to floor 2. I've called my floor, and now let's call function to go up. Is that down? That's down. That's why. Right now we're at floor 2. Let's get floor 3. Let's go to floor 4. Alright. Let's go up. Cool. So I can go up. But I can also go down. Let's go to floor 3. Now, call. And it stops at the floor I wish to leave at. Stop at. Cool. Let's go back down to floor 1. Skip floor 2. Cool. So that's my demonstration. Let's get on to how I built this. So, start off, the basics of how this works is this right here. That's it. Simple piston extender. I need to put this out, push this one up, and then in the reverse order, drop it down. It has to be in that order. If it pulls back before this drops, it won't get pulled back. The piston has to be a single block, essentially, to get pulled back. So, this little shoe looking thing with the delay will do exactly that. Now, we can take this to the next level by stacking them up and connecting them with this little snake circuit in the back. So that way, they do that. From here, we can take it to the next level and add a alternating side that's up by 1 block and diagonal, and delay it by a little bit. That way, so that when I stand in between the 2 pistons, I get the. Let's take the stacked concept and the shifted concept and combine them to create this. So now I go up. Now this is cool, but it only allows us to go up. So we can access the floor, we can access multiple floors by taking note of something simple. If I create a gap that's large enough for a player to fit through, like a 2-block tall gap, I will be kicked out of the elevator. Like that. Kicked out. But if I block it completely, let's take advantage of this even more. And what we can do to take advantage of this is by creating a simple circuit here that allows me to control if the hole is blocked or if the hole is open. If it's closed, then I will pass it up and move on to whatever I consider my next floor. If I open it, then I will be kicked out in this opening, and I can consider this another floor. In this case, floor 1 is the opening, and floor 2 is a point above this. And so I use this control. What I'm doing here is that as I send a signal upwards, there is a little point here, a little node that kind of comes out and up and activates this piston, or these two pistons that block my hole. And this is timed perfectly so that when I reach the hole and this activates, I'm blocked from going out of the hole and continue up to allow me to exit the hole here and jump onto the first floor. I can activate this, and what this does is it sends a separate signal up here, up this blue column, and it activates this piston, which cuts off the signal that would normally push down these two pistons and block me from exiting the hole. Right? If you're not familiar with this, here's the idea. This controls the opening, and this allows me to block the signal by cutting it off here. What this effectively allows me to do is control which floor I want to select. Floor 1, opening, so I get kicked out, and floor 2, close the opening, passing it up and moving on to floor 2. Now this works well for 2 floors, but what if I want multiple floors? Well, we could say that we can use buttons or whatnot to select it. We run into a problem of accidentally selecting multiple floors. What happens then? Kind of up to whatever circuit you designed, but either way it's not good. You don't want to select 2 floors. You want to select 1 floor exclusively. So I designed a pillar system to help me with that, and I'll show it over here. Alright, this is the pillar system. The pillar system is a circuit here, a certain component that allows me to select 1 floor at a time by raising and lowering these columns, or these pillars as I call them. When I push this note block, I activate this one and turn off all others. When I activate this one over here, I activate this and turn off all the others. More realistically, I turn off everything and then push this down. The way it works is that by pushing this block, I send an update to this observer, which is on this signal, this redstone, which is connected to the bottom of all of these other pillars. This acts as a reset function. It raises all the pillars. Then, isolated on the pillar that I selected is a delayed signal seen by this redstone repeater, that will travel up and push this pillar, thus activating the pillar I've selected here. So reset for all, followed by an isolated activation appear. This is great for a single story where I need to select floors on one level. However, things get problematic when I need to do this on multiple levels, because redstone does not like to go up in an easy way, and it takes a lot of space, or not a lot of space, but it takes a lot of redstone to wind up, right? I also need to do this for levels below, which is a whole other problem. So I went about this by deciding to create a network, shown here. It allows redstone signals to travel up and down regardless of where it came from on a single wire, essentially. And I ran into two problems. The first problem was powering the redstone every once in a while so I could extend the signal. This is a really good example of what I mean. So if I want my redstone signal to run on a single line in both ways, I need to create something like this. Because if I do this, redstone only runs in one direction, and that's no fun for me. So we do this. But the problem is, a long enough signal will just cause this to happen. It'll lock itself on. No fun. If I send a pulse, I just create a timer and it just does this ridiculous thing where it keeps looping over and over. That's no fun either. In a network like this, that will just result in a lock as well. Here's an example of the shorter signal. No fun. Just the same thing. No fun. Oh. You're already seeing the problem. This is what I ended up using. In the description of the video, I have the credits for whoever ended up making this. So thank you very much, person from, I don't know, maybe a decade ago or so. Look at that. Power my signal and it keeps going. I turn it off. That's wonderful. It even works for a delayed signal or a short signal. I think I assembled this incorrectly in this example. I definitely assembled this incorrectly in this example, but here is a really good example of it working. Oh, I see the problem. No, I don't. Yes, I do. There we go. There's it working from this side and this side. Wonderful. The other issue I'm encountering is that when I'm sending a signal here, it resets itself, right? This level will reset itself, but I need to send a signal to all other levels to reset themselves. I don't want the signal to end up coming back to me or to reset itself, because what will happen is that I select the level, as it resets everything, it will reset back to itself, thus resetting everything and nothing is selected. So when I send out a signal like this to reset all other levels, I need it to not I need my outgoing signal to not come back in. So this is what was developed, which is also another video from a decade or so. Person who did it, I appreciate it. This will allow me to send an outgoing signal. It will not interact with this line, which I consider my reset signal down here on the level I chose. So let's put this in action. Right? This essentially acts as, here I'm resetting the signal level. This gets hooked up out here, right? these cannot interact. So you can see, reset this one, and I reset the top one more time. Reset the bottom and the top like that with the lights on. But I'm not resetting this again, because when I activate this, it when I activate this, it should reset itself and send a signal out. So this shows that this network will work. And this here is the design in practice. So I reset my signal and I send an outgoing signal. Wonderful. And here, all outgoing signals will run on a single line and end up connecting here to an incoming signal. If I have a signal from out yonder, it'll eventually come here and reset this. You can see this work in practice here, where I have a single level selected, and you can see it by these blocks, these lanterns. So right now this is selected, and nothing else is selected. But if I come down here, you'll see a redstone signal, send out to all the others, and reset them. Notice that everything else that was on is now off, and now the one I selected is on. I'm going to select this one now. Cool. Signal goes out. This one is selected, and the one that I previously selected is off. I have functioning pillar for multiple stories. And as complicated as this is, it's pretty cool that it works. That was the main thing. The other thing that we need to worry about is the elevator coming back down. So here's the basics of that. I create a long-lasting signal that's temporary here by this redstone pulse extender. And then I create this here, which is just a sort of switchback that allows the signal to kind of fall down nicely. And I make use of glass blocks and redstone repeaters. Like that. In addition, I can also hook up some extra circuitry and control which floors I want activated. Right? 2 floors, 3 floors, 1 floor. Alright. Last thing I'd like to note, well, one of the last things I'd like to note is that these target blocks are useful because any redstone signal that comes by it will hook up straight into it. This helps for making things come back. One last thing I want to note is that this is a way I used, the way I could send signals downwards in a single direction. Like that. Very simple, very easy, very quick. Combined, these all together allowed me to create this elevator. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you took something away from this. This is my large, well, not my large, but this is my 5-story, well-functioning elevator. Alright, thank you, and have a good day.